Hello and welcome back to the Fuel for Thought podcast. This is post-Australia reactions, and man, that's definitely one of the best races I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I agree. Did you got up at 4, didn't you?
I did, 3:45.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
That's a little bit better than me.
I stayed up for the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, but I did have an excuse. I went out the night before. Got back at 2:30, went to sleep for an hour, managed to get up for lights out, watched halfway through, fell asleep, woke up literally just before Russell crashed, and saw the end of the race. But I saw on Twitter someone said, like, watch the beginning, may as well have a little nap, and then wake up at the end, which is exactly what I did, unintentionally. But I think fair play to me, I had an hour's sleep before waking up for it.
Yeah, but it sounds like your commitment just wasn't there.
I can't help falling asleep. I was tired.
Got to get an early night for these races, you know.
I know. It was my friend's birthday. What do you expect?
Yeah, all right. Must be a good friend, hey?
Yeah. Normally I don't make plans on weekends.
But yeah, I mean, the first kind of thing we can't ignore about this race is Verstappen was out on lap 1.
Yes.
That's like
Lap 2, wasn't it?
So
well, kind of.
Yeah. But he got overtaken very early by Sainz.
Yeah. Because he slid off the track. Did you see the playback?
Well, he said it felt like driving with the handbrake on the...
Yeah, so his rear end went off, like, so when he went round one of the turns.
It wasn't like that dramatic, but...
No, but he did lose time there.
Yeah.
And obviously made it easier for Carlos.
He was going slower, yeah.
But
he didn't go off the track.
Yeah, I think that kind of woke everyone up. Everyone was like, thank God I woke up at 4 a.m. for this.
It was just like, Verstappen's out?
Yeah, because obviously Carlos overtook Verstappen, and we were like, yes, come on. And then Verstappen's car was on fire, or like smoking.
And then his wheel blew up.
Yeah.
Well, because of the brakes.
Yeah.
Man.
But fair play. Fair play to Carlos. I feel like, do you think if Verstappen didn't have those issues with his car, that Carlos could have still competed with him for the lead?
Maybe for a bit, but honestly, I don't think it would have been inevitable that Max took it, I think.
Okay.
I've seen people saying, like, was it Perez that said that even with Max in the car, Ferrari still would have got ahead. And then Christian Horner came out and was like, oh, he didn't realise that he had damage when he was saying that, so actually he would have been quicker than he was. And it's like, is he just trying to save face also?
I don't know. I would love to have seen that, though. To have seen Carlos obviously
that would have
overtake him and then, giving him a fight for the lead. But I think we should also mention Carlos Sainz, obviously, give him a shout-out. Wear my Ferrari top for Carlos Sainz. Surgery 2 weeks ago, has had his appendix out. Won a race.
Do you know what? When you said surgery, I was like, his name is Sergio.
I'm not even talking about Perez.
Surgery Perez.
Surgery Perez. I'm not even talking about him. I'm about Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In the last podcast, we were both like, we don't really expect Carlos to be 100%. 100% there. Yeah. How wrong were we?
Yeah, I know. He's had something to prove, apparently.
Yeah. From my point of view, I feel like the way that Charles is bigged up so much, Carlos sometimes gets kind of overshadowed. But I think...
What, you don't realise he's as good a driver as he is?
Yeah.
But he's on kind of Charles's level a lot of the time.
Oh, definitely.
I think Charles's ceiling is higher. Like, his peak is faster.
Okay.
He has more potential to go quicker on his day. But...
Carlos is more consistent.
Really consistent, yeah.
I think Carlos deserves his own praise.
For sure.
And definitely shouldn't be overshadowed.
Let's not forget, he did beat Lando Norris in that McLaren, and granted it was his first season.
Yeah.
I think first and second season, I think. And obviously Norris has gotten better since. I don't know how they compare now, but, you know, got to speak about it.
Yeah, definitely. Big up Carlos Sainz. What a legend.
Yeah, I mean, it also as a Ferrari one too.
Yes.
It wasn't just...
Ferrari were really up there. Do you know what? I hate to say it, but Mercedes, are they becoming a midfield team? McLaren and Ferrari
not
and Red Bull.
midfield. They're kind of in no man's land.
Yeah.
There's a clear top 3 at the moment.
But if you look at the driver ratings, Aston Martin are kind of up there.
Yeah, but I think overall, Aston Martin are still slower as a package than Mercedes.
Okay.
But it's closer. It's quite close actually. But Russell was going to overtake Alonso.
Okay. Well, speaking about Mercedes, obviously Lewis.
Yeah, he went out as well.
Didn't make Q3.
So, oh yeah, he didn't.
Funnily enough, I predicted
well done.
that.
Well done.
Crazy. Sorry, LH fans.
I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like on days that the car just isn't performing as quickly as he likes, I feel like he just tries a bunch of different things to try and outperform the car, and sometimes it doesn't work because, he a few short years ago was competing for a championship. He's not just dropped in form overnight. And while, it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
But I feel,
Do you know what I'd love to see? Him, Charles, and Carlos all in that Ferrari competing against each other. I would love to see that. But yeah, obviously Hamilton started P11 and DNF'd.
Yeah, his car just seemed like it switched off.
Yeah, power unit issue.
It was very odd.
I saw he said that he didn't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
Like he didn't feel anything beforehand and just switched
It was
off.
just a pew.
Yeah, poor weekend for Mercedes. Obviously, George Russell crashed out in the last lap, which I don't know if you've seen, but whenever Carlos Sainz has won a race,
Yeah, I've seen it.
George Russell has crashed out.
There's a few really weird coincidences with that. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Because it's like Carlos Sainz win, George Russell crashes out on the last lap. Crofty always says you can hear the cheers of the crowd just before he crashes.
Really?
It's happened twice now, and while twice isn't a lot, it's weird that it's happened twice.
Is that like a meme from SpongeBob or something? There's like have you heard that? There's like a sound which, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's happened, well, not that specifically, but I think it's happened 3 times, because obviously Silverstone.
It did, yeah.
Then Singapore.
And Carlos won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Singapore. Obviously, George didn't technically crash out, I guess.
Of what?
Silverstone.
He did.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I mean, he could have driven back to the pits and,
because he got out of his car to check on Joe.
Let's just say George is always DNF'd when Carlos has won. So if Russell hears that Carlos is in the lead, he's probably pooing himself.
But probably the next big thing that you, I think, missed because you were asleep is the decision by McLaren to let Lando Norris through.
Yeah, I was going to mention that actually.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Obviously, it's Oscar's home race.
To be honest, with how far he finished ahead, I think he probably would have got past anyway.
Okay.
And he was on 5 laps. I think it was around 5 laps newer tyres.
Yeah.
So it was more, I think, to maximise the result than anything.
Yeah, because obviously Lando started ahead of Oscar, and then Charles and Oscar.
Yeah, he got undercut.
Undercut him.
No, overcut, wasn't it?
I think it was an undercut.
No, it was. Yeah, it was an undercut. Oscar pitted first, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, but I was thinking, if it was Silverstone, would they have done that to Lando?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not.
Exactly. And that's actually something that I said about the Williams car seat thing. So obviously Albon took Logan's car. And I was thinking, obviously,
if it was Miami.
Well, no, but if it was Oscar and Lando, obviously they would never have made Lando take Oscar's car.
No, but it's not the same.
It's not the same, but then it brings to question as to why does Williams have Logan in their seat if they don't, like, obviously Logan and Oscar are on the same playing field, I guess. They've been in Formula One the same amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's a lot of drivers
Oscar
out there.
is the F3 and F2 champion in his rookie seasons, and Logan was kind of fighting till the end to get enough points to get into Formula One. So I don't think the comparison's fair.
But what about other F2 champions, like Felipe Drugovich?
Well, yeah, obviously they deserve seats too.
Yeah. This is what I mean. There's obviously other drivers out there.
Yeah, I think the obvious reason is because he brings the American viewership, American sponsors, probably the biggest growing market in Formula One, and from the business side, it probably makes sense to kind of have Alex Albon, the driver that can get the most out of the car, and then have a second driver that can support him and also bring in the sponsorship money. So
yeah, true.
I don't know. That's my guess.
Okay. Well, obviously Alex didn't get any points for the team this weekend.
No, because the Haas's were quicker.
Yeah.
So good result for Haas.
Yeah, excellent result for Haas. Double point. Well, both cars in the points. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
I was kind of hoping that Albon would get points just to justify that.
Yeah, I know. But James Bowers put out a video and said they're investigating why their pace wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Should we just go back to Sergio Perez a minute, because he finished P5.
Yes, but he was nowhere near McLaren or Ferrari.
No, and his excuse was Max wouldn't have been either. But yeah, as I mentioned, Christian Horner said that he had some damage after he overtook Alonso.
So I saw that it was a tear off in his floor, which obviously affected the performance massively, apparently. Right. So I think that's the reason.
For it.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why he didn't have the pace compared to McLaren or Ferrari.
Yeah, but it's kind of the first question mark of the season for him, and with all the driver moves lining up next year, I'm wondering if this will be the last year for him.
Especially with Carlos Sainz in the mix.
Yeah.
But do you think Carlos Sainz would go to Red Bull, because he'd be Max's teammate? So he'd be number 2 to Max.
He's been Max's teammate before.
True. I mean, Carlos Sainz is a good way of proving everyone wrong when he's the number 2 driver. I'm not saying that he is the number 2 driver for Ferrari, but...
No, when it comes down to it, no one's going to say no to that seat. Like, do you want to hop in this car that's 20 seconds quicker than everyone else?
Yeah.
You'll be next to Max Verstappen, who's probably going to beat you, but you can get wins and podiums.
Yeah, but Carlos Sainz he loves to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
He loves to show that he is a winner. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously the only non-Red Bull driver that has won in the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, that would be good to see.
No one's going to say no to that. And it's like, he could still be on a winning team, even if it's not him that wins the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah. Yeah. I think from all the seats that could potentially be available, that's probably the one he's going to go to.
Yeah.
Because he's too good for Haas or Sauber.
Yeah.
And even Mercedes at this point. So.
I think Mercedes would also be a good fit for him.
Yes. But they just need to improve their car.
Yeah. But
it would be a better fit than obviously Sauber.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the other rumour has been for him to go to kick Sauber for a year and then line up his move to Audi in 26.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't think he would do that.
I would hate to see him in a backmarker team.
Yeah,
that'd be
same.
Awful. Like,
especially
what a waste
with Sauber's issues this year. God, they've been having a lot of issues, especially with their pit stops.
Man, I didn't even sort of clock onto that, but when they were like, they're just expecting to have really long pit stops.
Yeah, like 16-second pit stops.
They've just designed their wheel nuts to be like always cross-thread. And it's like, what?
When I heard that, I was like, I'm sorry.
So why are you even here?
You're one of the 10 Formula One teams in the whole world, and you can't design your wheel nuts properly. What is going on?
They're just showing up for a little Sunday drive.
Honestly, like I saw like one of their pit stops, and they just looked like they were ready to have a beer. They were just chilling, and I was like, what is happening with Sauber?
But the irony of it happening to Bottas as well. After that Monaco pit stop when he was in Mercedes.
Oh god, yeah.
Where it was the longest pit stop ever, famously, where they cross-threaded the wheel nut and couldn't get the wheel off. And it's like, I'm just in a team where this is the normal now, and we're expecting it to happen every single time.
Yeah,
like, they had one good pit stop that was like 4 seconds. But it's like one out of how many? 5 or 6 or however many stops they did. It's insane.
It's not great. It's not looking
There's got to
good.
be. I feel like there needs to be sort of penalties imposed to stop that kind of things happening.
Yeah.
It's like sort it out, or we're going to fine you. Give you penalties or whatever.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
Impose forfeits by the FIA.
There's probably plenty of other teams that want to be part of Formula One.
Exactly.
So I think the teams that are in Formula One should actually make sure that they're delivering. Mm-hmm. Because what is the point in Sauber being there if obviously Zhou or Bottas get up to P12, if they have a 20-second pit stop...
It's just a waste.
What a waste.
And then they go, we're going to look at other options for next year.
Yeah.
So.
I think you should look at other options for your wheel nuts.
I'm sure they'll sort it out.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm sure they will. Should we move on to the homeboy, Daniel Ricciardo?
Yes. Let's move on to Daniel Ricciardo. Bit of a shame for him this weekend.
Yeah, where is it he finished? 12th. So not terrible.
Yeah,
but
started
Tsunoda
18th though.
Got points.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Tsunoda he was P7, wasn't he?
P8.
P8.
Started 8th, finished 8th.
But Fernando Alonso has obviously got his penalty, so he went up to P7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so P7. Yeah, you're right.
And Daniel Ricciardo finished P12, but...
Just outside the points.
Just outside the points, but even so, obviously, there was three drivers that didn't finish.
Yeah. Well, and one driver that didn't start.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like he needs a bit of luck, but also he needs to make his own luck. He needs to... it's difficult because, like, if he takes risks and it doesn't pay off, then it looks badly on him. But if he doesn't take risks and he's not getting really lucky with a safety car or, anything else that could kind of get him into those point scoring positions when, maybe they're not a point scoring team necessarily week in, week out, then that also kind of doesn't look good on him.
True, but look at Yuki Tsunoda.
Well, exactly, yeah.
This is the problem.
He's kind of doing what Daniel Ricciardo should be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And now Red Bull have given him an ultimatum. 2 more races to kind of do something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Liam Lawson's getting the seat for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's
Which you can't say
good.
He doesn't deserve the seat because...
Yeah, he definitely does.
He does.
But I saw that Oscar Piastri had the best start by an Australian driver at their home race for the last 10 years. So obviously the longest time Daniel Ricciardo's been in F1.
Yeah.
Oscar Piastri's got the highest start.
Well, I'm sure that Ricciardo's probably the last one.
Yeah, true. But not more than 10 years ago.
No,
not
10
within
years
10
ago.
years ago. Yeah. But I love Daniel Ricciardo, so I really am hoping for his performance to improve.
Yeah. But yeah. So we'll see how that shakes out for him. But it's not looking good.
No, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Who is next on our list? I guess it's Alpine, isn't it?
Yes. So another thing Crofty said was that Pierre Gasly qualified in P17, which was actually his best of the season so far. Obviously 3 races in and his best is P17. Yeah. It's just not looking great for Alpine. They did finish better than they started.
And Ocon started at P15, but Gasly finished above Ocon.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw them that much. I don't remember seeing why that might have been the case. Maybe a slow pit stop for Ocon or something. I'm not sure.
I don't think they were showing that too.
But he finished P13, didn't he, Gasly, which is actually decent for that car, to be honest. With 4 drivers removed, I guess it's like still 3rd from bottom, right? But
yeah,
even so,
yeah. There's not really much to say about Alpine at the moment because they're not really giving us much to talk about.
Imagine being Gasly moving to like the 4th best team on the grid.
Yeah.
And then this happening within like your 2nd year.
Yeah. And him seeing obviously Yuki get P7.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
because you have to remember that Gasly in 2021 was the P4 merchant. He got P4s like all the time.
Yeah, true.
Which seems insane now, looking at this current grid. But
and Oscar Piastri, like I say this all the time, but he's probably looking at Alpine and just thanking his lucky stars that he chose McLaren. Because look at him go.
Yeah. he will certainly. I think he'll get podium this season.
Yeah.
Piastri.
I agree. If they don't swap him and Lando again.
Yeah. And then I guess moving down the order, probably the final thing to talk about in more depth is Russell's crash.
Yes.
So ended up Alonso getting a penalty for it.
Yes.
We didn't see it live, but he slowed down massively, 100 metres before the corner.
Yeah.
And he said, I just tried to try something different, but got it wrong. And he did get it wrong because he kind of slowed down, was like, it's a bit early, sped up, slowed down, and kind of dabbed on the brakes a couple of times. But yeah, it meant the closing speeds were so fast for Russell that all the downforce was just lost, and he was in the wall. I've seen a lot of comments about Russell.
Yeah,
there,
it was quite sad to see his radio. Obviously, he was screaming out for a red flag.
Yeah,
I don't know if he necessarily knew what lap he was on.
He would have known it was the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one because obviously in any other circumstance that would be a red flag, but because they would have had to go past him anyway. The VSC kind of did the same thing, same delta time. Does it not?
No, because you raced to a delta on the VSC, but you could still be going like quite fast. You just need to get to certain points in the track within a certain time, and not get there too quickly.
I heard that VSC delta time and the red flag delta time were the same.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. I've tried to do a lot of like Googling and looking on social media to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard that they're kind of prepared to stop, and also because the communications on the radio were really like good and prompt, that's why they decided on VSC. But I still think it should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
But there was obviously a lot of debate online.
Well,
so
it would have put George Russell back to P7, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and people are saying that that's why he was calling for a red flag, which
he's upside down in the middle of the track.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with. I think that's an awful thing to say.
But I also don't think that anyone knows what it feels like to, have that happen to them and lose the downforce and kind of be in his position. So no one's really in a position to say, George Russell, he loves a crash in this situation, because like Alonso got a penalty. So clearly it was determined by all of the data they have that he did something wrong.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have just done it just from video. They would have obviously looked at the data, and the data proved that Alonso was in the wrong. So and he got a hefty
drive-through penalty.
Yeah.
Which apparently is due to the change in rules this year.
Okay.
The minimum sort of penalty for that kind of thing is 10 seconds.
Okay.
And if for any aggravating circumstances, they can make it a drive-through penalty, which I guess they considered this was.
Yeah. I do feel a bit sorry for Russell though, because obviously everyone always says that he blames other drivers, and sometimes he does, but this time he didn't even say it was Alonso's fault. Other people were saying to him, do you think Alonso brake tested you? And he was like, I'm going to have to look at the data. And even on his Instagram post, he didn't even like name Alonso. And from my perception of it, he didn't blame him.
No, I'm sure he's probably just disappointed.
Yeah. I just think people hate on him too much, and I don't like it.
I think people hate on him too much. I think just because his personality comes across a little bit cringe to people sometimes. It's like, he's just
extremely British.
Yeah, he's just a bit of he's the posh boy in Formula One.
Yeah.
That says things that make people cringe, but it's quite funny.
Yeah.
It's quite...
I really like him, and I think he's a very good driver, and I think that people just should give him a bit of
He's got a lot
of
talent.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he came into Mercedes the year that they weren't the quickest. And so...
Yeah.
He's just trying to outdo himself, I think.
Yeah.
And...
It's a shame to see his race end that way.
Yeah. But, Charles Leclerc has had a few crashes, but people don't question his talent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about in this race. But should we go back and talk about our predictions?
Let's do it. Okay. Actually, hang on. I just need to double check what mine were.
I didn't write mine down, so I need to remember what they were.
God, I don't even know. Okay. So. Okay. So, for qualifying, I put Charles Leclerc third, Fernando Alonso second, and Max Verstappen pole. I got one of those right. Yes.
What? Max Verstappen pole.
Yeah. But I didn't put Carlos Sainz on there because I just didn't expect
we
him
said,
to be 100%.
We said, he wouldn't be 100%. It's been chopped open.
Yeah.
And he'll still be a bit sore.
Yeah, but otherwise I probably would have if he was in the mix.
Smashed it.
Do you remember what you put?
I think it was Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen. I think.
You're not far off, I guess.
Or was it? Yeah, I think that's
you
what I said.
You definitely put Piastri in.
I definitely put Piastri in P2. Yeah, but it was actually technically Norris in P3 in the end.
Yeah.
So the right teams.
Yeah. True.
Wrong drivers and wrong order, but yeah. None of us expected it to shake down how it would, though.
No, definitely not. I mean, I actually got 2 of my race predictions right. Lando Norris P3 and Charles Leclerc P2.
Yeah.
But obviously put Max in first, which I did say I am jinxing him by putting him in first, and I did.
Yeah.
And Carlos Sainz took P1. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah. What did I say? I said Leclerc, Perez, and Verstappen, which was obviously wrong. All 3 were wrong.
Yeah. That's okay, though.
Yeah,
we can't always be right. And normally I'm very wrong.
Can't win them all.
Can't win them all. Okay, so my 3 predictions was red flag. Probably why I was like, gosh, Russell's crash should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
Because I predicted red flag. My second one was Lewis Hamilton will not make Q3.
Yes, you said that.
And he did not make Q3. Mm-hmm. So I am a psychic. And I'm sorry to Lewis Hamilton fans. Because I spoke that into the universe and it happened. So sorry.
Should be.
I should be sorry. And then my third one was McLaren will qualify badly. So P9 or lower.
Yeah.
But they will both finish in the top 5. So I got half of that right.
Yeah, but I feel like one doesn't count without the other.
No, you're right. They both started in the top 5 and then finished in the top 5.
I said there won't be a red flag, and I was right.
Okay.
I also said that Alex Albon will qualify in the top 10. I was wrong. He did not.
Logan Sargent would have hoped he would.
Yep. Where did he qualify in the end? Albon,
he
12.
Yeah, P12.
Not far off.
Not far off, but not quite.
Yeah, P12.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he finished 11th because of Russell.
Shame, really.
Wow, so close. So close.
Yeah, so far.
And then I also said that 2 teammates will crash into each other.
That didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. Teammates were driving quite, close on track, I guess,
I don't think they were.
But the Ferrari's at the front, McLaren's second.
No, but it was I saw someone say, I think it was on Twitter, they said, Verstappen's out, and then all the teams just decided to hold station and not do any racing. It's like, come on, man. The win's up for grabs here.
Yeah, true. What do you think about that, though? Because I've seen people say that it proves that even with Max not being in the race, that it can be a bit boring.
Well, I mean, we've just talked about it for half an hour. So.
This is true. There was, even though I guess the kind of middle stint, there wasn't much that happened. I found it quite exciting.
It was more interesting than your average race.
Definitely.
But I think because of the prospect of a different winner.
Yeah.
Was also just exciting.
Yeah.
So.
And the circumstances that it happened under, where Carlos obviously was in surgery 2 weeks before, managed to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have obviously had to go through a lot of tests and stuff.
And one thing that we didn't mention was the best national anthem in the world.
Hell yeah.
At the end.
That was brilliant.
That's so good.
Do you know, I love seeing them all sing along. They're so passionate and it just it makes me happy.
Had a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And it was a bit fast though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like...
Yeah. They kept up though.
They
kept up. Forza Ferrari.
It was very good.
Yeah, I mean, we're part Italian, so we've got...
It's such a good anthem, though.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And then, after the race as well, there was that weird AR, green screen graphic with all the drivers.
On Sky Sports, yeah.
And the camera panel, the eyes followed you.
It was very
so
odd. I don't know if anyone saw it, but when they went to the studio after the race, they had, holograms of Charles Carlos and Lando, and when the camera moved around, the eyes followed the camera, and it was very strange because obviously it was just holograms, and they weren't there. Yeah, it was very odd. And
the camera went through them as well.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was just very strange to me.
So weird.
I also want to give a shout out to Gunter Steiner.
Yeah.
For interviewing everyone at the end. It was really odd. Obviously, he's been Haas's team principal for ages, and then at the end he was just interviewing the drivers.
They're probably just thinking what? Why is it Gunter here?
It's
interviewing me.
It's brilliant. Love him. It's good to see him back.
Yeah, in some capacity.
Yeah,
yeah.
Definitely.
At least he's still getting, getting his payday.
Yeah. Love it.
But yeah, I think.
Shall I see if there's anything else that I noted?
If you want.
That's because I always make notes. It's good to, Ooh. Okay, so I have 2 notes. One note is Lando Norris now has 14 podiums without a win, which puts him top of that statistic.
It's a new record.
Yeah, new record.
I'm sure it's a record that he'll love to have.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll not keep that record, and he will
didn't
win.
I say that he'll get a win this season? I think I said that.
I think he will.
Start.
I still strongly think he will. I put him the top of my driver predictions, but that's okay. He can still do that. And the other one that I had was Max had 43 consecutive finishes from Emilia-Romagna 2023, 2022 to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, the last DNF was Australia 22.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. That's how many races he's finished.
Very good.
Which I thought was notable. So that's why I wanted to say it. Fair play to him.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back to his usual form in Japan.
Yeah, he probably doesn't like Australia that much because
maybe not.
It seems to be his downfall.
But yeah, I think we should call it a day.
Okay, let's call it a day. I feel like we've spoken for ages. There's been a lot to talk about this Grand Prix.
Yes. Let's hope that Suzuka is similarly
I mean,
good.
Suzuka is also early, not as early. So maybe it's the early ones that are the great ones.
Maybe.
Suzuka is a good track, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
A lot of the drivers like it.
Yeah. That will be a good one.
Yeah. But, do you want to finish it, Do you want to end it off?
End it off. Thank you for listening / watching. We appreciate it very much. If you want to leave a comment and give us some feedback on our pod, that'd be fantastic. Follow us on social media, and we'll see you very soon for Japan. That was cringe. Bye.